when a man is sending you a lot of messages, right? This is when he wants to be in your mind very quickly. So he will tell you a lot of beautiful words. And so in the beginning, you're like scared. But after 2, 3, 4 days, you tend to relax and you tend to listen to him. That's where it will just, boom, create a projection where you will fall in love. But it will be too fast. So you need to take a little bit of your time. So that would be red flag number 1. Red flag number 2, and I found that some of the women I coach are not really focused on this. It's at what time are you able to communicate with him? Because when a man is disappearing during the weekend or at night during the evening, there is something wrong here, right? So I would say looking at this is a red flag. I don't know if you have a lot of clients that are not looking at this, Michelle, but for me, especially in France, that's true, also in the US, but mostly in France, I have seen that this is a pattern.
So are these men probably in other relationships or married perhaps?
So it could be married or at least dating someone else, right? They are always doing things. They're always trying to attract other women. So they would just communicate in the morning or at certain time that are not very the time that people are able to dedicate when they want to build a real relationship. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So maybe he's not available at certain times of day. He's not available. Mm-hmm.
Or is married, so he will not have his phone all the time. And sometimes he will communicate a lot, then disappear for 3 days, come back and communicate a lot, and then disappears. This back and forth or like black and white, I truly believe this is a red flag that you need to be aware of, ladies.
Yeah, and that kind of comes back to this idea of consistency. And
always.
You know, his when I say consistency, I also mean his words and his actions are congruent. They match up, right? He's not just saying all the flowery words, but he's got the actions, or he's got he's showing up in a way where he can bounce. He's not bouncing his word checks, so to speak. His actions and his words are in congruence.
Yeah, this is very important.
Yeah. Well, what else do you feel like you would like to share with our audience? What haven't I asked you that I wish that you wish I'd asked you, or what else would you like to share?
I think that, first of all, I really do feel that this communication is powerful, and I truly hope that it will help you navigate during this dating process. So the thing that I ask when I coach someone, a woman, I also ask them to be a little bit involved. So when the man would create the first date, I already ask them to create another date that would be very special, a new activities, so they can create a chemistry. So I just believe that it's very important to keep this in mind, that every date needs to be here to create a memory, because it helps create a bond, and also it helps you focus on the activity, on the moment, not the end results. Because sometimes the women I coach, they want to rush the process. They really want to be in a relationship. When they're in a relationship, they want to continue moving forward. And that's where we are not taking our time. So that's one piece of advice. But I want to know what you think of this, Michelle, by taking the time and also asking ladies to organize some dates. Is it something that you ask also? I'm curious about this.
Yeah, so I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because I just love talking with you. This is so fun. We're going to have to do it again sometime.
Sure. I love it too.
I just love talking with you. So yes, I love your advice so much about making each date memorable in some way. That doesn't mean that everything has to be super fancy and super expensive every time, but you want to make something that's going to create a memory, because it does help you be focused on that event, that particular date, and be in the moment and not jumping 10 steps ahead in your mind, which, as you mentioned, is a very big problem. Because if we're in our mind space where we're thinking, does he like me? Do I like him? Did I wear the right outfit? Blah, blah, blah. Is my hair funny? Whatever. Do I look fat in this? Whatever. These are the things we think as women, I know. Is he the one? Could he be the one? Do I have spinach in my tooth? Whatever. If we're so focused on all this other stuff, it's hard to just be present and interact with someone. It's hard to be present and just enjoy that experience for the sake of that experience. And I think that's a really powerful way to date. It makes dating a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. So I love your idea of making each date memorable. And coming back to something you said earlier, doing some things, maybe considering some ideas that you could suggest to a man. You could say, a couple of things that would sound fun to me would be, you can make the suggestion and let him plan and execute it. When you're doing some creative things, it also brings him out of just his headspace. If he's just kind of in a logical, rational, thinking about his work, whatever kind of space, if you're doing something, whether it's, going to an amusement park or swinging on the swings like kids or whatever it is, it's going to create a memory. And that's going to help you stand out as that unique kind of woman. Now, in terms of your question of women planning dates, I am not a fan. This is just my opinion.
I mean, that's great. I love the fact that we can discuss this. That's why I was thinking about it. And I know that, Michelle, you can have a different point of view, which is amazing. So I want to hear, I want to learn also from you.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I am not a huge fan, at least for the first couple of dates, of women planning the dates. And I'm not a huge fan of women offering to pay on the first couple of dates. And I'm not a huge fan of going Dutch, splitting it, because I feel like that sets you up for more of a friendship or business type relationship. But what I am in favor of is women sharing ideas or suggestions of what she thinks would be fun. We don't want to have these, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to maybe have in mind a couple of things that you think would be fun, and then say, you know what I think might be fun? If you'd like to plan it for us, you want him to plan and execute so he gets the reward, the acknowledgement. And then once you've dated a few times, I'm talking maybe 3 or 4 times, then I think you can do something like, maybe you could say, you know what I think would be fun would be, maybe let's go on a little picnic on Saturday, and I will pack the picnic lunch. I'll make us an amazing picnic lunch. So see, then the woman is contributing, she's suggesting, and she's doing something, so it's not all his responsibility and it's not all his expense. But it's not quite the same as her, like, saying, I'll pay half or I'll pay this time. I just think there's a way to do that feels more feminine and graceful. So as an example, when my husband and I were dating, he took me on several dates. And then I said, oh, you know what? I'm dying to go to this concert. And I had already bought these tickets to this concert. It was a Michael Bublé concert. And I said, and I would just be so happy if you came with me. I mean, you and Michael Bublé on the same night. I mean, that would be like amazing. And so, then I invited him in that way to go with me. And I, of course, paid for those tickets. I'd already bought the tickets. And so that felt graceful to me. I was just treating him. But it wasn't, I don't know, it just felt different than me saying, hey, I know you want to go out and I'll take you to this or that. I just said, I've been dying to see Michael Bublé. I got these tickets. I got great seats. If I could have you and Michael Bublé on the same night, that would just be incredible. So it was just a nice way to invite him out. I just think there are ways we can do it that still allow us to feel more feminine and graceful.
Yeah, I love your example because you're always very playful. So it makes it very fun, very go also with the flow. And the word that I will remember that pop up to my mind is treating him. I just do feel that it's very important because when I met my wife, the first few dates I had to pay because it's cultural. Also, I truly believe that men needs to pay the couple of first dates. But there's a moment where I told her, okay, that I need you also to see some involvement. I need to see some involvement from you, right? So I just truly think that for me, I would ask the ladies to not pay the first time and not split the bill, but the second day to take care of it. That doesn't mean something that they need to pay, but at least to prepare the activity, to just be involved and treat the men and show some involvement. So, but I'm glad to have your knowledge also. I think it's being playful is always right. I just fully believe in dating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do think, especially if you're doing a lot of nice things, it can get pretty expensive. And so I think if you want to be able to date in that way, which many people do, it's really a lot of fun to be able to do nice things. I do think there is a way for a woman to contribute. And I just kind of feel like I kind of like to maybe have the man. This is maybe where we see things just a little bit different, but I think we're really on the same wavelength overall, is I kind of like a man to maybe plan a couple of dates before the woman does that.
That's okay. I didn't say that you're right, so I give you this.
I think we're both right. I think it's just, you have to decide what you feel good about, what
Yeah.
feels good and comfortable to you. And I'm in no way saying that I don't think a woman should ever pay for anything. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think, you kind of feel it out, and it might be a little different depending on what you're doing and what's being planned. I mean, I went out with one guy for a while, and we did a lot of like free things. We would go to a lot of freebie things. So there wasn't a lot of, occasionally we'd go out to dinner, but there wasn't a lot of real expense going on there. And so that felt really comfortable because I knew he wasn't really spending a lot on a lot of these dates. But you kind of have to fill out these situations.
Yeah. I love what you say. There is no perfect solution for everyone. You have to feel it, ladies. And maybe the last thing I want to say is really that it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you meet the right one. It's beautiful. Love is just powerful. So don't be worried. You can meet someone, whatever your age is, whatever your past relationship is, there is always a solution. That's what I found as a relationship expert, is we really can find a solution. So love is a beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very lovely way to kind of wrap up. And I will definitely echo that. And I will also say, one of the things that I also think is important, this is just kind of my last thought here, is that I think it's important to also be able to relax and enjoy the process. Sometimes I worry, Alex, that people are listening to all these videos and they have so much information rolling around in their heads that they're not going to be able to relax and enjoy the process. And I believe it's pretty hard to scare off the right guy if you're, he's not going to be scared off if you say something inartfully or awkwardly. And so if we can relax and enjoy the process more, I think that's going to help a lot too, because I think we have to remember, love, dating, romance, this is all supposed to be fun, right?
That's true. That's true. Don't become a robot. Enjoy the process. Yes, that's very important.